Today, we embark on an exploration of Stoic philosophy, a timeless ancient school of thought that has not only withstood the test of centuries, but has proven to be a beacon of wisdom for those seeking solace and guidance through life's trials and tribulations. This philosophy speaks to the deepest parts of our human experience, offering insights that transcend the ages. In this video, we will delve deeply into how these ancient teachings can radically alter our perspectives, giving us tools to face everyday challenges with an inner peace that only the Stoics seem to master. I invite you to stay with me until the very end, for it is there that you will uncover valuable quotes that have the power to fortify your resolve and provide clarity in any situation life throws your way. If you are new to this channel, I warmly welcome you and encourage you to like the video and subscribe. Interestingly, only about 15% of my current audience has subscribed. So if you find value in this content and it resonates with you, please consider hitting that subscribe button and turning on notifications to ensure you never miss an update. Now let's take a breath, prepare ourselves, and start this transformative journey together. Are you ready? We often seek happiness in the very places where we once lost it, repeating the cycle of pain in hopes of a different outcome. It's a paradox that those with the most troubled pasts often end up creating the brightest futures. The Stoics teach us that if you don't take the time to meticulously design your life plan, you'll inevitably become part of someone else's design. And more often than not, what others have planned for you falls short of your potential, limiting you in ways you never anticipated. Forgiving people silently, choosing never to interact with them again, is an act of profound self-care. It is not about pride or avoidance. It's about releasing yourself from the chains of toxicity that others may bring into your life. The beauty of yesterday is something to be cherished, but it cannot be clung to. Just as the seasons change, so too must we evolve and let go, making yourself perpetually available to people who only show up when it suits them is a surefire path to resentment and self-neglect. We must recognize that there is something infinitely more precious than time itself, and that is the individuals with whom we choose to spend it. One day, when you look back, you'll laugh at the magnitude of things you once allowed to consume your peace. Never harm others as a means of healing yourself. Neither should you compromise your own well-being in an attempt to heal others. Your respect for yourself sets the standard for how others will treat you. True toil is not about what you gain from it, but about what it molds you into as a person. Clocks may measure time, but only experiences and interactions reveal the true nature of people around you. Healing isn't about pretending the damage never existed. It's about ensuring that past damage no longer dictates the course of your life. Recognizing the dissatisfaction with where you currently are is the vital first step in initiating any meaningful change. Seek to obtain what you genuinely love, for if you do not, you may end up being compelled to accept what life throws at you, and that is not a position of empowerment. Your education, your self-improvement, is a lifelong process, never truly complete. The pursuit of knowledge, the willingness to learn continuously, is what separates the content from the restless. Permit pain to visit you, teach you and shape you, but do not let it overstay its welcome and become a permanent resident in your heart. When the road ahead seems free of obstacles, it's likely a sign that it leads nowhere of significance. Obstacles are not roadblocks. They are signposts on the journey to self-discovery and growth. When we continually choose comfort over discomfort, we stagnate, and the life we lead becomes anything but comfortable in the long run. This journey is yours alone. Yes, others may walk alongside you, offering their support or companionship, but ultimately, no one can take your steps for you. Your worth is intrinsic. It does not diminish because others fail to recognize it. Price of progress is steep, often demanding more of you than you think you can give, but know that the strength you build in the process will serve you in ways that comfort and ease never could. There will come a day when the pain you endure today will be useful to you, serving as a reminder of your resilience and fortitude. In life, if you don't take control of your narrative, others will gladly write it for you, and trust me, what they pen for you will seldom align with your own hopes and aspirations. The Stoics believed that truthfulness with oneself and taking full responsibility for one's actions and circumstances led to a kind of liberation. This liberation makes the air you breathe feel lighter, the burdens on your shoulders less oppressive. Face your obstacles with courage. You'll soon realize they possess nowhere near the power you once thought they had. The man or woman who avoids adversity is the one who is denied the opportunity to rise and prove their strength. It is through the storms of life that our true character is revealed. Reflecting upon life's many facets, the Stoics guide us to appreciate the nuances of letting go. Life is an endless cycle of growth, loss, and rediscovery. In order to grow, we must release the burden of the past. There is a profound peace in choosing not to cling to yesterday. It was beautiful, yes, but it is gone, and the moments we cherish are fleeting. They exist only in memory, as whispers of what once was. Living with an open heart means accepting that not everything that enters your life is meant to stay. The people who float in and out of our lives often do so for reasons we may not immediately understand. Sometimes they are meant to teach us lessons or help us along our journey. Other times they serve as reminders of what we should avoid. We must be discerning in our availability. Stop making yourself overly available to those who are only with you when it suits them. Remember, there is only one thing more precious than our time, and that is who we choose to share it with. Choose wisely. It is a certainty in life that one day you will look back and laugh at the trivial matters that once caused you great distress. In those moments, you will wonder why you ever allowed them to hold such power over you. When you learn to not let external circumstances dictate your inner peace, you begin to embody the Stoic way of living. Do not seek happiness in the same places where you once lost it. Happiness is not found in external circumstances, but within you, in your responses to life's twists and turns. The Stoics teach us that we should never hurt others in our quest to find healing, nor should we damage ourselves in our attempts to heal others. Self-respect is not just an act of self-love. It is a declaration to the world of what you will and will not accept. If you fail to set boundaries, others will not hesitate to overstep, trampling on your worth and value. This is why self-respect is crucial. It creates an invisible barrier that defines how you will be treated. The journey towards achieving our goals is seldom easy, yet the greatest reward lies not in what we gain, but in what we become along the way. Each step, each hurdle shapes our character. The passage of time reveals people's true nature, and the Stoics remind us that while clocks merely show the passage of hours and minutes, it is our experiences that reveal the essence of who we are and who we surround ourselves with. Healing is not about pretending that past wounds never existed. It is about acknowledging the scars and choosing not to let them govern our lives any longer. It means reclaiming your power from the pain that once controlled you. Recognizing that you are not where you want to be can be the most painful realization. Yet, it is also the first step towards meaningful change. Only by admitting dissatisfaction can you begin to chart a new course. If you do not pursue what you love, you risk being forced to accept what life hands you by default. This is why it is essential to follow your passions and dreams actively. You may not always succeed, but the pursuit itself is what brings fulfillment and meaning to your journey. Your education and growth are ongoing. They do not end once you leave school. Life is a continuous learning process, an ever-evolving classroom where every experience is an opportunity for growth. To live fully is to commit to learning and to embrace each experience as a teacher. Allow pain to visit you, to teach you, but do not let it take up residence in your heart. Pain is an inevitable part of life, a teacher that demands our attention. However, it should not become the center of our existence. If you find paths in life without obstacles, be wary, for they often lead nowhere meaningful. The Stoics view obstacles not as impediments, but as guides, signs pointing you towards the direction of personal growth and self-discovery. When we avoid discomfort in favor of ease, we may find that the life we lead becomes comfortable in all the wrong ways, stagnant, unfulfilled, lacking in the richness that comes with overcoming challenges. Your path in life is uniquely yours. Others may walk beside you for parts of your journey, but ultimately, it is a solitary road that you alone must travel. In this journey, do not let anyone else's failure to see your worth make you question your own value. The costs of progress are often high, the sacrifices steep. Yet, they are investments in the person you are becoming. Be patient and be strong. There will come a time when the pain you endure today will prove invaluable, teaching you lessons that will serve you for years to come. If you do not take control of your life, others will gladly do it for you. They will impose their plans, their dreams, and their expectations upon you, leaving you with little room to pursue your own path. The Stoics understood this well, which is why they placed such importance on self-determination and inner strength. When you commit to living truthfully with yourself and taking responsibility for your choices and actions, you liberate yourself. You lift the weight of others' expectations off your shoulders and breathe freely for the first time. Facing your obstacles is a daunting task, yet the Stoics teach that most obstacles lose their power the moment we confront them. They are like shadows in the dark, growing larger the longer we avoid them. When we finally muster the courage to face them, we find they are not nearly as formidable as we once imagined. The man who never faces adversity is the one who is never given the chance to grow stronger. Without challenges, we remain untested, our potential unexplored. Life will always present difficulties, but it is through these hardships that we are given the opportunity to prove our resilience and fortitude. Change begins with the person staring back at you in the mirror. When you change yourself, your world changes. The limits you perceive are often self-imposed. You have the power to redraw those lines or step beyond them. Your potential is boundless, limited only by the constraints you place upon it. Remember, just because you dislike this chapter of your life does not mean the next will be the same. Every chapter, no matter how difficult, serves a purpose in the grand narrative of your life. The strength to walk away from what is wrong, to close doors that lead nowhere, is one of the most empowering acts you can perform. It is not an act of pride, incapacity, or arrogance, but one of self-preservation. Some paths are meant to be left unexplored, some doors are better left closed. Clinging to people, circumstances, or habits that no longer serve you is like holding onto a rope that is burning your hands. Letting go is not weakness, it is wisdom. The things you consider your possessions often end up possessing you. They can weigh you down, anchoring you to places and states of being that you have outgrown. Much of our suffering stems from our tendency to accept every thought that crosses our mind as truth. The Stoics teach us to question our thoughts, to challenge our perceptions. Just because a thought captures your attention does not mean it deserves to be entertained. Life is about moving forward. We cannot sit and brood over our wounds forever. Yes, it is essential to acknowledge and understand our pain, but there comes a time when we must stand up, dust ourselves off, and take the next step forward. The journey to success always begins with a single, brave step. The courage to take that first step, to risk failure, is what sets apart those who achieve from those who remain in the realm of dreams. The good life is not devoid of sadness. It is a life where suffering is embraced as a necessary part of our development. In sacrificing today's comfort, we lay the foundation for a better tomorrow. Pain is simply a message, a signal that something within us or our surroundings requires change. Following an established path is easy. Creating a new one, carving out a trail where none existed before, is painful, yet leads to new and exciting places. Success and failure are both transient. Neither is ever final. What matters is the journey, the lessons learnt, and the growth that comes from embracing each experience, no matter how challenging. Perhaps you have been treated unfairly, but let that injustice be a measure of your capacity for growth. Often, the depth of your pain signifies the height of your future potential. We sometimes feel guilty when we outgrow people who do not evolve with us. But growth is a natural part of life, and the inability to outgrow others is not a sign of disloyalty, but a marker of progress. The world will not become kinder to you simply because you are a good person. Good people are often misunderstood, taken for granted, and sometimes even played. Yet, it is precisely these moments that build character and teach you the value of inner strength. True courage is found in reflection, in gathering strength from distress, and in facing the storms of life with a smile. When someone's words do not align with their actions, have the courage to walk away. Your peace is not worth sacrificing for inconsistency. Sometimes the anticipation of loss is more painful than the loss itself. It is in every success story that you will find the tale of someone who made a brave decision. Your life becomes far more peaceful when you let go of anger and transform it into understanding and empathy. The people who hurt you are often hurting themselves more than you realize. Walk your path and create it with each step you take. You will find it tailor-made for you in ways that no other journey could match. The best gift you can give yourself is the freedom from the opinions and judgments, of others. When you respect and love yourself, you establish boundaries that others are obliged to respect. Do not be afraid to disappoint those around you if it means living a life that is true to your values and desires. You are the only person who will walk every step of your journey. Therefore, it is your right to decide which paths to take, regardless of what others think. On this journey, you will inevitably encounter people who seem to clash with you, no matter how kind or right you try to be. Some individuals will never align with your path, and that is perfectly acceptable. The Stoics understood this relatively well, advocating for the acceptance of others' differences without letting their discord disturb your inner peace. Change, however necessary, often feels daunting because known challenges and familiar pain seem easier to handle than the unknown. We must accept that life is inherently unpredictable. The Stoics teach us not to be afraid of this unpredictability, but to embrace it as an opportunity for growth. Never be afraid to act in your own best interest. Waiting for others to change, to take action, or to give you permission will only result in missed opportunities and unfulfilled dreams. Forget about trying to change others. Change yourself, your environment, or both. Life is too short to spend it waiting for circumstances to align perfectly with your expectations. Never give up on what you truly desire to do. The person with big dreams has the power to shape their reality, even if they do not yet have all the facts or resources. At some point, you will realize that no one else can dictate the terms of your life unless you allow them to. Your life becomes meaningful in direct proportion to the level of responsibility you are willing to take. Seek first to understand others, to gain insight into the world around you, and only then seek to be understood. This approach fosters deeper connections and a more profound sense of peace. From suffering, the strongest souls emerge. Adversity forges character, carving depth into our lives that nothing else can provide. If you are not resilient now, the path ahead will only become more treacherous. Always place your transformation above your current comfort. Life is not about staying in one place. It is about continuous growth, about becoming more than you are today. In our interactions with others, we often grapple with the desire to control outcomes or change people. But the truth is, we can only change ourselves. We must let go of the illusion of control over external factors and focus on our own responses, our own decisions. When you prioritize your own transformation, the world around you changes as a reflection of the change within you. This is the essence of Stoic wisdom, to focus on what you can control, your thoughts, actions, and attitudes, and release your grip on what you cannot. Do not cling to any one person, not even those you hold dearest. Every individual is both a prison and a hiding place. By overly attaching to others, we risk losing ourselves in their presence, suppressing our own growth in the name of preserving the relationship. The Stoics teach that true freedom comes from detachment, not in the sense of emotional coldness, but in the sense of not letting our happiness depend entirely on others. When you find yourself at a crossroads, unsure of the direction to take, remember that the paths without obstacles often lead nowhere. It is the paths filled with challenges that bring the most growth and the most learning. The greatest accomplishments are not found in moments of ease, but in moments of struggle. Choose discomfort over comfort, for it is through discomfort that you expand your boundaries, break through limitations, and discover the depths of your strength. There will be times when you feel the urge to retreat, to fall back into familiar patterns because they seem easier than facing the unknown. But remember, it is precisely in these moments that growth happens. Comfort is alluring, but it is a trap that keeps you stagnant. When you choose to step out of your comfort zone, you step into a space of endless possibilities. Others may walk alongside you, offer you advice, or even share parts of their journey with you, but they cannot walk your path for you. Your worth is not defined by someone's inability to recognize it. You are valuable simply because you exist, because you are on a journey of self-discovery and growth. The costs you pay for progress, the sacrifices, the hardships, are the investments in your future self. There will come a day when you will look back at your current struggles and see them for what they truly were, stepping stones that brought you closer to your true potential. In the face of obstacles, do not shy away. Instead, confront them with courage and determination. Often, the obstacles we fear most turn out to be far less formidable than we imagined once we stand up to them. The man who never faces adversity never experiences the full extent of his own strength. Adversity gives you the chance to prove yourself and discover abilities you never knew you had. Change begins with the person you see in the mirror. It is easy to blame external circumstances for our dissatisfaction, but the true source of change lies within us. When you change your perspective, your attitude, and your approach, you change your world. The limits you perceive are often self-imposed, born out of fear or doubt. Life invites you to break free from these limitations and explore the vastness of your potential. Just because you dislike this chapter of your life does not mean the next one will be the same. Life is an ever-unfolding story, each chapter different from the last. Sometimes the most difficult chapters serve as the prelude to the most beautiful ones. Walking away from what is wrong, from what no longer serves you, is an act of strength. It is not about pride or arrogance, it is about self-preservation, about protecting your peace of mind. Letting go of the past can be one of the hardest things to do, but it is also one of the most liberating. Some doors need to be closed, not out of anger or bitterness, but because they no longer lead anywhere meaningful. When we cling to the things we believe are ours, we often find that they possess us more than we possess them. True freedom comes from releasing that which no longer contributes to our growth. The Stoics teach us that much of our suffering arises from the belief that every thought that enters our mind is true. But this is not so. Thoughts are fleeting, ever-changing, and often misleading. We must learn to question our thoughts and challenge our perceptions. Not every thought deserves our attention, and not every idea is worthy of our belief. When you learn to filter your thoughts and focus only on those that serve your growth, You free yourself from the chains of unnecessary suffering. Life is not meant to be a constant replay of past wounds. At some point, we must gather the courage to move forward, to leave behind what once hurt us. Every success story is built upon a series of brave decisions, of small steps taken in the face of uncertainty. You ruin your life when you try to make everyone else happy at the expense of your own peace. The good life is not one that is free from sadness or pain, but one where suffering contributes to our development and understanding. Sacrifice today's comfort for the promise of a better tomorrow. Pain is merely a signal, a message from within that something in your life is out of alignment and needs your attention. Heed its call, learn from it, but do not let it dominate your existence. Following a well-trodden path may feel safe, but creating your own path, though fraught with difficulties, will lead you to places you never imagined. Success is not an end state. It is a process, a journey of constant growth and evolution. Neither success nor failure is ever final. Both are part of the ongoing cycle of life. Embrace the unfairness you encounter as a testament to your capacity for endurance. The depth of your pain often correlates with the height of your future. When you look back on your struggles, you will see that they were the crucible in which your strength was forged. As you progress, you may find yourself outgrowing people who were once an essential part of your life. This can be a source of guilt, but it is also a sign of your growth. The world will not become kinder to you simply because you're good. In fact, goodness often invites misunderstanding and exploitation. Yet, it is precisely in facing these challenges that you build true character. The strength to endure comes from reflection, from gathering courage amidst distress, and from learning to face life's storms with grace. When someone's words do not align with their actions, have the strength to walk away. Your peace is more valuable than any relationship that demands you sacrifice it. Sometimes the thought of losing someone is more painful than the actual loss. This fear can keep you bound to situations and people that no longer serve your well-being. In every success story, you will find a pivotal moment where someone made a bold decision. Your life gains peace when you transform your anger into understanding, realizing that those who hurt you often do so out of their own inner turmoil. Walking your path means not only creating it, but also accepting that it is uniquely yours. No one else can walk it for you. The best investment you can make is in your own growth and transformation. Many people are afraid to walk their path alone, but solitude can be a powerful teacher. Being alone does not mean being lonely. It's an opportunity to connect with your deepest self, to reflect and to grow without the noise of others' expectations. The Stoics remind us that it is our internal strength, not the validation of others, that brings us lasting peace. The journey towards self-knowledge is a lifelong pursuit. You will encounter situations that test your values, challenge your beliefs, and push the limits of your comfort zone. These tests are not meant to break you, but to reveal the strength that lies dormant within. Accept each challenge as a chance to learn, to grow, and to become a more refined version of yourself. The Stoic path is not about avoiding hardship, but embracing it as a necessary part of life. We often make the mistake of thinking that success is about reaching a destination, acquiring wealth, or achieving fame. But true success lies in the ability to maintain serenity and wisdom in the face of life's uncertainties. The Stoics teach us that our worth is not determined by external accomplishments, but by the strength of our character and the calmness of our mind. Life is a constant process of learning, unlearning, and relearning. As we grow older, we begin to understand that some things we once held as truths were merely illusions. Sometimes in the quest for success or validation, we forget the importance of setting boundaries. We become so focused on pleasing others, on fitting into molds that society has created for us, that we lose sight of who we truly are. However, The Stoics remind us that we must honor our own needs and boundaries. There is power in saying no to things that do not serve our growth. Setting boundaries is not an act of selfishness. It is an act of self-preservation. It is a declaration of your worth and an acknowledgement of what you need to thrive. Forgiving others silently and choosing to move on is not a sign of weakness, but of immense strength. It requires a deep understanding that holding on to resentment only poisons your own peace. The Stoics advocate for letting go of grudges, not to condone wrongdoing, but to free ourselves from the burden of anger. Forgiveness is an act of self-care. It means prioritizing your well-being over the need to hold others accountable for their actions. This does not mean you have to let those people back into your life. In fact, sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is to walk away and never look back. The present moment is the only reality we have. The past is a memory, and the future is uncertain. Yet, so often, we become entangled in regrets over the past or anxieties about the future. The Stoics teach us to focus on the here and now, to accept the present as it is, and to work within it to create the life we desire. Accepting the present moment as if you had chosen it is a key to inner peace. When you resist reality, you create suffering. When you embrace it, you empower yourself to act with clarity and purpose. In our interactions with others, we frequently seek validation. We want to be understood, appreciated, and loved. But the Stoics teach us that true validation comes from within. When you respect and love yourself, you no longer seek approval from others. This self-assurance frees you from the chains of external validation. It allows you to make choices that align with your values, even if those choices go against the expectations of others. The Stoics knew that change was inevitable. It is the only constant in life. Yet, many of us fear change because it brings with it uncertainty and discomfort. We cling to the familiar, even when it no longer serves us. But it is in change that we find our greatest growth. It is through the challenges and upheavals of life that we discover who we truly are. Instead of fearing change, we must learn to embrace it and see it as a catalyst for transformation. Life is not static. It is dynamic, always evolving. When we learn to flow with this natural rhythm, we find a deeper sense of peace. It is easy to get caught up in the pursuit of things, wealth, success, possessions. However, the Stoics remind us that the things we own can end up owning us. Material possessions, while useful, are not the source of true happiness. They can provide comfort and convenience, but they cannot give us a sense of purpose or fulfillment. The pursuit of material wealth often leads to a never-ending cycle of desire and dissatisfaction. There will always be more to acquire, more to achieve. True contentment comes not from accumulating things, but from appreciating what you already have. One of the most profound lessons from Stoic philosophy is the concept of inner peace. Inner peace is not the absence of conflict or difficulty, but the ability to remain calm and centered amidst the chaos. It is the understanding that you cannot control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you respond. This mindset shift is the key to navigating life's storms with grace. When you master your reactions, you reclaim your power. You no longer allow external circumstances to dictate your emotional state. We often hear that we should follow our passions and pursue what makes us happy. While this advice is well-meaning, it can sometimes lead us astray. The Stoics teach us that true happiness is found not in the pursuit of pleasure, but in living a life of virtue and purpose. It is in doing what is right, even when it is difficult, that we find lasting fulfillment. When you act in accordance with your values, you experience a sense of integrity and self-respect that cannot be shaken by external events. In relationships, whether with family, friends, or romantic partners, the Stoics remind us that we should not cling too tightly. Every person in our life is both a gift and a teacher. Some are meant to stay for a season, others for a lifetime. Clinging to relationships out of fear of being alone only creates suffering. When we hold on to people who no longer align with our growth, we prevent ourselves from moving forward. It is okay to outgrow relationships. It is okay to walk away from those who do not respect or support you. Closing doors is not an act of arrogance or pride. It is an act of self-care. There are times when you must close a chapter, not because of bitterness, but because it no longer serves your journey. Some paths are meant to be walked alone, and some doors are meant to remain closed. Life is not about holding on to everything. It is about knowing when to let go. When you release what no longer serves you, you make room for new opportunities and new growth. Much of our suffering comes from our own thoughts. We take every negative thought as truth and let it dictate our emotions and actions. The Stoics teach us to question our thoughts and to challenge the stories we tell ourselves. Not every thought deserves our belief. By cultivating a mindset of detachment, we learn to observe our thoughts without becoming entangled in them. This practice allows us to break free from the cycle of negative thinking and embrace a more empowering narrative. In the pursuit of success, we often forget that the journey is just as important as the destination. The Stoics remind us that every step we take, every challenge we overcome, shapes who we are. The success stories we admire are not just about the achievements, they are about the courage, resilience, and determination it took to get there. Every success is built upon a series of small, brave steps taken in the face of uncertainty. Your life will become more peaceful when you stop holding on to anger and resentment. Transform these emotions into understanding and compassion. Realize that those who hurt you are often acting out of their own pain and struggles. Walking away from situations that no longer serve you is not an act of cowardice, but one of strength. You owe it to yourself to protect your peace and to prioritize your well-being. Walking your path means accepting that it is uniquely yours. It means embracing the fact that others may not understand your journey, and that's okay. The only approval you need is your own. The more you seek to please others, the further you stray from your true self. The Stoics teach us that our worth is inherent. It is not something that can be given or taken away by others. When you walk your path with confidence, you inspire others to do the same. The fear of judgment often keeps us from living authentically. We worry about what others will think and how they will perceive our choices, but the Stoics remind us that others' opinions are beyond our control. What matters is how we see ourselves. When you live in alignment with your values and act with integrity, you will find that others' judgments hold little power over you. It is a common misconception that letting go is a sign of weakness. In truth, it is a sign of strength. Letting go of people, situations, or beliefs that no longer serve you requires immense courage. It means choosing to prioritize your well-being over the comfort of familiarity. It means trusting that something better awaits you on the other side of release. Change is a universal constant, and one of the greatest challenges we face in life is the struggle to accept it. The Stoics teach that change is not something to fear, it is an opportunity to evolve. By embracing change, we learn to adapt, grow, and let go of attachments that bind us to our current state of being. Too often, we cling to the past or resist the future, hoping to freeze life in a comfortable place. Yet, comfort can become a prison, stifling our growth and preventing us from experiencing life's vast potential. The power of letting go cannot be understated. When you release your grip, on what you cannot control, you create space for new possibilities. Imagine holding onto a rope with all your strength, even as it cuts into your hands. The pain comes not from the rope itself, but from your refusal to let go. Similarly, holding on to grudges, past mistakes, or outdated beliefs causes us more suffering than the events themselves. To let go is to free yourself from the chains of unnecessary suffering, to choose peace over pain. One of the core tenets of Stoic philosophy is the practice of self-mastery. It is the understanding that while we cannot control the events of the world, we can control our responses. Life will throw challenges our way, and we may not be able to change the circumstances, but we always have the power to choose our attitude, our actions, and our mindset. This is the essence of freedom, being the master of your own thoughts and emotions. When you cultivate this level of self-mastery, you become unshakable, grounded in the calmness of your inner being. In our interactions with others, the Stoics advise us to practice empathy and patience. People are complex, often dealing with their own internal struggles. The way they treat you is more a reflection of their inner world than it is of your worth. When you encounter negativity, respond not with anger, but with understanding. This does not mean you must tolerate mistreatment. Rather, it means recognizing that others' actions are often driven by their insecurities, fears, and unresolved pain. By understanding this, you protect your peace and avoid unnecessary conflicts. It is said that he who knows himself is enlightened. Self-knowledge is a lifelong journey, a continuous process of introspection and reflection. The Stoics encourage us to examine our thoughts, emotions, and actions regularly. Ask yourself, why do I feel this way? What is the source of my discontent? How can I respond in a manner that aligns with my values? By asking these questions, you begin to uncover the deeper layers of your psyche, the hidden motivations that drive your behavior. This awareness empowers you to change patterns that no longer serve you and to break free from habits that limit your potential. The Stoics also teach us about the impermanence of life. Everything we hold dear, our possessions, relationships, achievements, will one day fade away. This realization is not meant to bring despair, but to encourage us to live fully in the present. By acknowledging that nothing is permanent, we learn to appreciate the beauty of each moment and to cherish what we have while we have it. When you let go of the need to possess, you gain the freedom to experience life more deeply. Each interaction, each experience becomes a gift, not something to cling to, but something to be grateful for. Living a life of virtue, as the Stoics describe it, is not about following rigid rules or moral codes. It is about striving to be the best version of yourself, to act in ways that align with your highest values. This means being honest, not just with others, but with yourself. It means acknowledging your mistakes, learning from them, and committing to growth. It means showing kindness, even when it is difficult, and standing up for what is right, even when it is unpopular. Virtue is not a destination, it is a way of being, a daily practice of choosing integrity over convenience. Often we are our own harshest critics. We judge ourselves for our perceived shortcomings, for the times we failed or acted less than perfectly. But the Stoics teach that self-compassion is as important as self-discipline. Is human, and mistakes are an inevitable part of the growth process. Instead of berating yourself for your failures, see them as opportunities to learn and improve. When you approach life with a mindset of growth, every mistake becomes a stepping stone towards wisdom. In relationships, the Stoics emphasize the importance of balance. Love, friendship, and companionship are among life's greatest joys, but they must not come at the cost of your self-respect or peace of mind. Do not cling to people out of fear of being alone. True relationships are those where both individuals are free to be themselves, to grow and change. If a relationship demands that you compromise your values or suppress your true self, it is not a relationship that serves your growth. Walk away, not out of anger, but out of love for yourself and your journey. There is a profound difference between reacting and responding. Reaction is immediate, often fueled by emotion and impulse. Response, on the other hand, is thoughtful, grounded in reflection and consideration. The Stoics teach us to pause before we act, to consider the implications of our choices. This practice of mindful response allows us to navigate life with greater clarity and wisdom. When you respond rather than react, you break the cycle of emotional reactivity that so often leads to regret and conflict. One of the greatest gifts you can give yourself is the ability to be at peace with solitude. In a world that constantly urges us to seek validation from others and to be in constant connection, solitude can feel uncomfortable. Yet, it is in solitude that we reconnect with our true selves. It is in the quiet moments, free from the distractions of the outside world, that we can hear our inner voice, understand our desires, and align with our purpose. Embrace solitude as a time for self-care, reflection, and growth. As you continue on your journey, you will encounter obstacles, setbacks, and disappointments. The Stoics teach that these are not roadblocks, but opportunities for growth. Each challenge is a lesson, a chance to build resilience and strengthen your character. When you encounter difficulty, ask yourself, what is this situation trying to teach me? How can I use this experience to become a better person? By reframing obstacles as lessons, you shift from a mindset of victimhood to one of empowerment. Gratitude is a cornerstone of Stoic practice. It is the act of appreciating what you have, even amidst hardship. When you focus on what is good in your life, you cultivate a sense of abundance. This does not mean ignoring your problems or pretending that everything is perfect. Rather, it means acknowledging both the struggles and the blessings, recognizing that life is a mix of joy and sorrow. By practicing gratitude, you shift your perspective, allowing yourself to see the beauty in the ordinary, the silver linings in the clouds. Our thoughts are powerful. They shape our perceptions, influence our emotions, and guide our actions. The Stoics teach us to be vigilant about the thoughts we entertain. Negative thinking can become a habit, a cycle that feeds into itself. But by practicing mindfulness, we learn to observe our thoughts without becoming attached to them. We realize that we have the power to choose our thoughts, to focus on those that empower us rather than those that bring us down. When you change your thinking, you change your life. Fear is a natural human emotion, one that has its place in keeping us safe. However, the Stoics warn against allowing fear to control us. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. These fears can paralyze us, keeping us from pursuing our dreams and living fully. The Stoics teach that courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act in spite of it. When you face your fears, you discover that they are often not as terrifying as they seemed. Each time you act in the face of fear, you build confidence, proving to yourself that you are capable of more than you imagined. The pursuit of happiness is a common goal, but the Stoics remind us that true happiness is found not in the pursuit of pleasure, but in the cultivation of a peaceful mind. It is not about acquiring more, achieving more, or being more. It is about finding contentment in the present moment, accepting life as it is, and choosing to respond with grace and wisdom. Happiness is a byproduct of living in alignment with your values, of acting with integrity, and of embracing life's impermanence. In every situation, there is a choice. You can choose to dwell on what you lack or appreciate what you have. You can choose to react with anger or respond with calmness. You can choose to see obstacles as barriers or as stepping stones. The Stoics teach that the quality of your life is determined by the choices you make. Your power lies in your ability to choose your thoughts, your responses, and your actions. This is the essence of Stoic freedom, the freedom to shape your own destiny through the choices you make every day. As we walk the path of life, we inevitably encounter periods of darkness and uncertainty. The Stoics teach us that in these moments, we have a choice. We can succumb to fear and despair, or we can use these times as opportunities to cultivate our inner strength. Darkness is not an enemy, it is a canvas upon which we paint our resilience, our courage, and our determination. Like the stars that shine brightest against the night sky, our true character is often revealed in times of struggle. It is through adversity that we discover the depths of our capabilities and the endurance of our spirit. The Stoic practice of negative visualization is one of the most powerful tools for building inner fortitude. It involves contemplating the loss of things we cherish, the inevitability of setbacks, and the reality of our mortality. While this may sound bleak, it serves a profound purpose. By mentally preparing for potential hardships, we are less likely to be caught off guard when they occur. It cultivates a sense of gratitude for what we have in the present and helps us approach challenges with a calm and measured response. Instead of fearing loss, we learn to embrace the impermanent nature of all things, understanding that change is the very essence of life. One of the greatest sources of human suffering is our attachment to outcomes. We set goals, make plans, and invest in particular results. When things do not go as expected, we feel disappointed, frustrated, and even defeated. The Stoics remind us that while we can and should make plans, we must also accept that the outcome is beyond our control. This is the essence of the Stoic practice of focusing on what is within our power. We can control our actions, our attitudes, and our efforts, but not the results. By releasing our attachment to outcomes, we free ourselves from the cycle of expectation and disappointment. This does not mean we stop striving for success. It means we do so with the understanding that our peace of mind is not dependent on any particular result. This understanding of control is also crucial when dealing with the actions of others. How often do we find ourselves upset, hurt, or angered by the words and deeds of those around us? We expend energy trying to change others, to make them see things our way, or to act in ways that align with our desires. But the Stoics teach that we cannot control others. We can only control our own responses. When you encounter a situation where someone acts in a way that is unkind, unfair, or unjust, take a step back and remind yourself their actions are not within my control, but my reaction is. By doing so, you reclaim your power. You choose to respond with calmness, with understanding, and with the dignity that reflects your values. Gratitude, for the Stoics, is more than just a practice. It is a way of life. It is the recognition that every day is a gift and that every experience, good or bad, offers something valuable. When you adopt a mindset of gratitude, you begin to see the world through a different lens. The mundane becomes meaningful, and even the difficulties of life take on a new light. You start to appreciate the small moments, the simple pleasures, and the lessons hidden within the trials. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have, fostering a sense of abundance and fulfillment. However, practicing gratitude does not mean ignoring pain or pretending that challenges do not exist. On the contrary, it means acknowledging the reality of hardship while choosing to focus on what is good. The Stoics encourage us to find joy not in the absence of difficulties, but in our ability to endure them with grace. They teach that true contentment is found in embracing the full spectrum of human experience, the joy and the sorrow, the triumphs and the trials. When you accept life in its entirety, you find a deeper sense of peace, one that is not easily shaken by the fluctuations of fortune. In our pursuit of self-improvement, we often encounter setbacks and failures. The Stoics teach that failure is not a reflection of our worth, but a natural part of the growth process. Every failure carries with it a lesson, an opportunity to refine our approach and build resilience. When we fail, we must resist the urge to fall into self-criticism and instead view the experience as a stepping stone towards mastery. Just as a sculptor chisels away at a block of marble to reveal a work of art, so too do our failures chisel away at our weaknesses, revealing our true potential. Patience is another virtue emphasized by the Stoics. In a world that prizes instant gratification, patience is often overlooked. We want results now. We want change to happen immediately. But the Stoics remind us that all things take time to come to fruition. Growth is a gradual process, one that requires persistence, dedication, and the willingness to endure the discomfort of not having what we want right away. Patience is not about passively waiting. It's about actively working towards your goals with the understanding that meaningful progress takes time. It is about trusting the process and knowing that every small step you take is moving you closer to your destination. In relationships, patience is equally important. We all have flaws, and so do the people around us. The Stoics teach us to practice patience and understanding towards others, recognizing that we are all on our own journeys of growth. This does not mean we tolerate behavior that disrespects us or compromises our values. Instead, it means we approach others with empathy, giving them the space to learn, change, and become better. When conflicts arise, respond not with anger, but with calmness and a willingness to listen. By doing so, you cultivate stronger, more meaningful connections. Another key aspect of Stoic philosophy is the practice of acceptance. Acceptance does not mean resignation or passivity. It means acknowledging reality as it is and choosing to work within it. There will be situations in life that are unfair, painful, and beyond our control. The Stoics teach us that fighting against these realities only leads to frustration and suffering. Instead, they encourage us to accept what is, to make peace with the things we cannot change, and to focus our energy on what we can influence. When you accept reality, you free yourself from the grip of resistance and open up to new possibilities. Often we find ourselves wishing for a different past or fearing an uncertain future. We get caught up in what-ifs and if-onlys, losing sight of the present. The Stoics remind us that the past is unchangeable and the future unknowable. The only time we truly have is now. By anchoring ourselves in the present, we free our minds from the weight of regret and worry. This does not mean we ignore the past or fail to plan for the future. It means we do so from a place of presence and awareness. When you live in the present, you engage with life fully, savoring each moment and acting with clarity and intention. The Stoics also teach the importance of practicing humility. No matter how much we achieve, how wise we become, or how skilled we are, there is always more to learn and savoring more room to grow. Humility is not about diminishing your accomplishments or abilities. It is about recognizing that you are part of a larger whole and that your knowledge and power are limited. It is the understanding that others too have wisdom to offer and that the world is vast and complex beyond our comprehension. When you approach life with humility, you remain open to learning and growing, and you cultivate a deep sense of respect for others. Compassion, for the Stoics, extends not just to others, but also to ourselves. We often set high standards for ourselves and then berate ourselves when we fall short. The Stoics teach that self-compassion is crucial for personal growth. You are human, and being human means you will make mistakes, experience setbacks, and encounter limitations. Instead of criticizing yourself offer yourself the same understanding and kindness you would extend to a friend. Acknowledge your efforts, celebrate your progress, and forgive your shortcomings. This practice of self-compassion creates a nurturing environment for growth and resilience. In the face of loss, the Stoics offer a powerful perspective. Everything we have is borrowed from the universe. Our possessions, our loved ones, even our own bodies are gifts that are temporarily ours. When we experience loss, it is not a punishment or a misfortune. It is the natural return of what was never truly ours to keep. This understanding helps us to let go with grace, to mourn without becoming consumed by grief. It teaches us to appreciate what we have while it is with us and to release it when its time has passed. In the pursuit of our goals, we are often met with obstacles that seem insurmountable. The Stoics encourage us to view these obstacles not as roadblocks, but as opportunities to strengthen our resolve. Each challenge is a chance to test our character, to practice resilience, and to grow. The greater the obstacle, the more glory there is in overcoming it. When you approach life with this mindset, you transform difficulties into stepping stones, using them to build the path towards your success. Finally, the Stoics teach us the importance of inner peace. True peace does not come from a life free of problems, but from the ability to maintain serenity amidst the storms. Inner peace is the result of living in alignment with your values, of acting with integrity, and of accepting life as it unfolds. It is the understanding that while you cannot control everything, you have the power to choose your responses. When you cultivate inner peace, you become like a steady ship in turbulent waters, navigating life's challenges with grace and composure. In summary, the Stoic path is one of self-mastery, resilience, and wisdom. It is about embracing the full spectrum of human experience and understanding that joy and sorrow, success and failure, gain and loss are all part of the journey. It is about focusing on what you can control, your thoughts, your actions, your mindset, and releasing your grip on what lies beyond your control. It is about finding freedom in acceptance, power in humility, and peace in the present moment. Life is an ever-changing journey, and one of the Stoics' most profound teachings is the concept of amor fati, the love of fate. This principle encourages us not merely to accept what happens to us, but to love it. Amor fati is the act of embracing every experience, whether joyous or painful, as an essential part of our journey. By loving our fate, we cultivate a mindset that sees every event, every setback, and every triumph as necessary for our growth. We do not just tolerate what life brings, we welcome it, knowing that each moment contributes to our personal evolution. This mindset shifts the way we perceive difficulties. Challenges become not things to avoid or fear, but opportunities to embrace with courage. When you love your fate, you see every obstacle as a stepping stone, every failure as a lesson, and every loss as a reminder of the transient nature of life. In this way, amor fati is not about passivity or resignation. It is about active engagement with life, about finding joy and purpose in every experience, regardless of its nature. In relationships, the concept of amor fati can be incredibly liberating. We often struggle to change others or wish they were different to meet our expectations. This creates tension and disappointment as we set ourselves up against the reality of who they are. The Stoics remind us that each person is on their own path, shaped by their unique experiences, beliefs, and struggles. When we practice amor fati in our relationships, we learn to love others as they are, without trying to mold them into our idea of perfection. We accept their flaws, their differences, and their choices, understanding that these are part of their journey. This does not mean we have to tolerate harmful behavior. Rather, it means we approach others with compassion and respect, recognizing that they, like us, are doing their best with the tools they have. Another powerful Stoic practice is the discipline of desire. Often our suffering arises not from what happens to us, but from our desires and expectations. We yearn for things to be a certain way, to have more, to avoid discomfort. The Stoics teach that it is not the fulfillment of desires that brings true happiness, but the regulation of them. By learning to desire less and to be content with what we have, we free ourselves from the constant cycle of wanting and dissatisfaction. This does not mean we should not strive for improvement or seek to achieve our goals. Instead, it means we do so with a sense of detachment, understanding that our peace of mind does not depend on any specific outcome. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, famously said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This statement encapsulates the core of Stoic wisdom. Life is unpredictable, full of events beyond our control. We cannot dictate the actions of others, the course of nature, or the unfolding of circumstances, but we can choose how we respond. When faced with adversity, we have the power to choose our attitude, our words, and our actions. This power is the source of our freedom, our resilience, and our peace. Another aspect of Stoicism that holds profound wisdom is the concept of memento mori, the remembrance of death. While this may seem morbid at first glance, it is actually a practice designed to enrich our lives. By keeping the reality of our mortality in mind, we are reminded of the preciousness of each moment. Memento mori encourages us to live fully, to act with intention, and to cherish the time we have. It liberates us from the trivial worries and petty grievances that so often consume our energy. When you acknowledge the finite nature of life, you gain clarity about what truly matters. You become more courageous in your decisions, more present in your interactions, and more grateful for the simple joys. Memento mori also teaches us to let go of the illusion of permanence. We often cling to things, people, and experiences, hoping they will last forever. But nothing in life is permanent. By remembering this, we learn to appreciate what we have while it is here and to release it with grace when it passes. This practice does not lead to detachment in a cold or unfeeling way. Rather, it deepens our connection to life, allowing us to engage with it more fully. We love not because we expect it to last forever, but because the fleeting nature of love makes it all the more precious. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of acting with purpose. In a world filled with distractions, it is easy to drift through life, moving from one task to the next without a clear sense of direction. The Stoic practice of setting intentions grounds us in our values and goals. Each day, take a moment to reflect on what you want to accomplish, not just in terms of tasks, but in terms of who you want to be. Ask yourself, how can I live today in alignment with my principles? How can I contribute positively to the lives of others? When you act with purpose, you infuse your actions with meaning, and you cultivate a sense of fulfillment that transcends the outcome of any specific endeavor. In the face of criticism or praise, the Stoics teach us to remain grounded. We often allow others' opinions to influence our self-worth, swinging between pride and self-doubt, depending on the judgments we receive. The Stoics remind us that praise and criticism are merely reflections of others' perceptions, not measures of our true value. When someone praises you, accept it with humility, but do not let it inflate your ego. When someone criticizes you, consider whether there is truth in their words, but do not allow it to diminish your sense of self. Your worth is inherent, not contingent upon external validation. By maintaining equanimity in the face of others' opinions, you preserve your inner peace and stay true to your path. The Stoics also advocate for simplicity and self-discipline. In a world that constantly bombards us with messages of consumption and excess, it is easy to fall into the trap of thinking that more is better. The Stoics, however, argue that true wealth lies in needing less. By simplifying our lives and focusing on what is essential, we free ourselves from the endless pursuit of material possessions. This simplicity extends not just to our physical belongings, but to our thoughts and desires as well. When we practice self-discipline, we train our minds to focus on what matters, to let go of distractions, and to cultivate a state of inner calm. True freedom, the Stoics tell us, is not the absence of limitations, but the mastery of oneself. It is the ability to act in accordance with our values, regardless of external circumstances. This inner freedom is what allows us to navigate life's challenges with grace and dignity. It is what gives us the strength to stand firm in the face of adversity, to remain kind in the face of cruelty, and to choose peace over chaos. Another key element of Stoic philosophy is the practice of reflection. At the end of each day, take a few moments to reflect on your actions, your thoughts, and your emotions. Ask yourself, did I live today in alignment with my values? How did I respond to the challenges I faced? What can I learn from today's experiences? This daily practice of self-examination fosters growth and self-awareness. It helps you to identify patterns, to understand your motivations, and to make conscious changes. Reflection is not about judgment or self-criticism. It is about learning and improving. By regularly reflecting on your journey, you become more attuned to your inner world and more intentional in your actions. The Stoics also teach us to approach life with a sense of humor. Life is filled with absurdities, with unexpected twists and turns. While it is important to take our responsibilities seriously, it is equally important to maintain a light-hearted perspective. Humor allows us to cope with difficulties, to laugh at our mistakes, and to see the humor in our own human folly. It reminds us not to take ourselves too seriously, to find joy in the midst of hardship, and to embrace the unpredictability of life with a smile. Finally, the Stoics emphasize the importance of living in accordance with nature. This means aligning our actions with the natural order of the world, recognizing that we are part of a larger whole. It means understanding that life is cyclical and that everything has its time and place. By living in harmony with nature, we learn to flow with life rather than resisting it. We become more adaptable, more resilient, and more at peace with the unfolding of events. In conclusion, Stoic philosophy offers us a roadmap for living a life of wisdom, courage, and serenity. It teaches us to focus on what we can control, to accept what we cannot, and to find peace in the present moment. It encourages us to cultivate virtues such as patience, humility, and compassion, to practice gratitude, and to embrace the impermanence of life. The Stoic path is not an easy one, but it is a path that leads to a deeper understanding of ourselves and a more meaningful existence. By adopting the Stoic mindset, you equip yourself with the tools to navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience. You learn to find strength in adversity, to love your fate, and to live each day with intention. As you continue on this journey, remember that you are not striving for perfection, but for progress. Each step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to the person you are meant to become. Embrace the journey, trust in your own strength, and know that every experience, every obstacle, and every joy is part of the beautiful tapestry of your life. Another core concept in Stoicism is the idea of living in harmony with reason. Reason, for the Stoics, is the guiding principle of the universe, the innate intelligence that orders all things. To live in harmony with reason means to align your thoughts and actions with the natural order of life. It is to acknowledge that, despite our desires and wishes, life unfolds according to a greater logic that is often beyond our comprehension. By accepting this, we free ourselves from the need to control every outcome and instead trust in the process of life. Living according to reason also means practicing self-control and moderation. The Stoics believed that emotions like anger, fear, envy, and desire are often the result of irrational thoughts. These emotions can cloud our judgment, leading us to act in ways that do not serve our well-being. Through the practice of mindfulness, the Stoics teach us to observe our emotions without being ruled by them. It is not about suppressing our feelings, but about understanding their origin and choosing how we respond. When you catch yourself being swept away by anger or anxiety, take a moment to pause, breathe, and reflect. Is this emotion grounded in reality? Is it helpful, or is it leading me away from my values? By questioning your emotional responses, you begin to master them rather than allowing them to master you. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of community and interconnectedness. Although Stoic philosophy teaches the value of independence and self-sufficiency, it does not advocate for isolation. The Stoics recognize that human beings are social creatures and that our well-being is intertwined with the well-being of others. To live virtuously is not to withdraw from society, but to actively contribute to it. This means showing kindness, offering help, and acting with justice and fairness in your interactions. It is through our relationships with others that we practice the virtues of patience, compassion, and forgiveness. In the pursuit of inner peace, the Stoics encourage us to cultivate the attitude of equanimity, a calmness of mind that remains steady regardless of external circumstances. Equanimity is not indifference. It is the serene acceptance of whatever life brings. When you practice equanimity, you learn to stay balanced in the face of both success and failure, joy and sorrow. You realize that neither praise nor criticism, wealth nor poverty, can alter your inner state unless you allow it. By maintaining equanimity, you become like a rock in a stormy sea, unshaken by the waves crashing around you. This steadiness gives you the strength to navigate life's challenges with grace, without losing sight of your values. Another vital practice in Stoic philosophy is voluntary discomfort. This involves intentionally exposing yourself to mild discomforts, such as fasting, taking cold showers, or spending time without certain luxuries. The purpose is not to punish yourself, but to train your mind to be less dependent on external comforts. By voluntarily experiencing discomfort, you build resilience and prepare yourself to handle life's inevitable hardships. You learn that your happiness is not tied to material conditions, but to your inner state of being. This practice also fosters a sense of gratitude for the comforts you do have, helping you appreciate them more fully. The Stoics teach that wisdom is not just theoretical knowledge, but practical application. It is the ability to take what you know and use it to navigate the complexities of life. Wisdom involves knowing what is within your control and what is not, acting with integrity and making choices that align with your values. It is about understanding that mistakes are part of the learning process and that each day offers an opportunity to grow in character. To live wisely is to live deliberately, with an awareness of the impact of your actions on both yourself and others. The practice of silence and solitude also plays an important role in Stoic philosophy. In the quiet moments, away from the distractions of the world, you gain the clarity to reflect on your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. Solitude provides the space to reconnect with your inner self, to listen to your intuition, and to contemplate the direction of your life. It is in these moments of silence that you often find the answers you seek, not through noise and activity, but through stillness and introspection. The Stoics knew that wisdom grows in the soil of silence, and that by spending time alone, you strengthen your ability to face the world with calmness and confidence. The Stoics also highlight the importance of being adaptable. Life is unpredictable, full of changes that can disrupt our plans and expectations. When we rigidly cling to a certain way of thinking or acting, we set ourselves up for frustration. Adaptability means being open to change and willing to adjust our approach as circumstances evolve. It is the recognition that flexibility is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. When you remain adaptable, you become more resilient and better equipped to handle the twists and turns of life. You learn to view changes not as threats, but as opportunities to explore new paths and to grow in unexpected ways. The idea of practicing forgiveness is also central to Stoic thought. Holding on to grudges and resentment only harms you, not the person who wronged you. The Stoics teach that forgiveness is an act of self-liberation, a way of freeing yourself from the burden of anger. When you forgive, you are not condoning the other person's behavior. You are simply choosing to let go of the emotional weight it has on you. This does not mean you must forget what happened or allow the person back into your life, but it does mean you release the hold that past hurts have on your present peace. Forgiveness is not for the benefit of the other person. It is for your own well-being, a way of reclaiming your power and moving forward without the chains of resentment. Moreover, the Stoics teach the value of gratitude, not just for the good things in life, but for the challenges and setbacks as well. It is easy to be grateful when things are going well, but true gratitude is found in appreciating the lessons that difficulties bring. Every struggle, every failure is an opportunity for growth, a chance to become stronger and wiser. When you learn to be grateful for the entire spectrum of experiences, you cultivate a mindset of abundance. You begin to see that even in the midst of hardship, there is always something to be grateful for, some light to be found in the darkness. Another profound lesson from Stoicism is the idea of sympathia. The understanding that we are all connected and that each individual is part of the whole. This interconnectedness reminds us that our actions affect not just ourselves, but the entire web of existence. When you act with kindness, you contribute to the well-being of the world. When you act with selfishness, you create ripples of harm. The Stoics teach that to live virtuously is to act with the awareness of this interconnectedness, to understand that we are all on this journey together. It is through this awareness that we cultivate compassion, not just for others, but for ourselves. The Stoic approach to mortality also brings a unique perspective to how we live our daily lives. When you reflect on your mortality, you become more mindful of how you spend your time. You stop taking the days for granted and start living with greater intention. The petty grievances and trivial pursuits lose their grip on you, replaced by a focus on what truly matters. You realize that life is not about how long you live, but how well you live. It is about the quality of your experiences, the depth of your relationships, and the impact of your actions. The Stoics remind us that the pursuit of virtue is a lifelong journey. There is no final destination where you become the perfect Stoic. Instead, every day presents an opportunity to practice the virtues of courage, wisdom, justice, and temperance. Some days you will succeed, and other days you will fall short. The key is to keep striving, to learn from your mistakes, and to continue growing. The Stoic path is not about achieving perfection, but about committing to the process of becoming a better version of yourself. In conclusion, the wisdom of Stoicism offers a guide for living a life of meaning, resilience, and inner peace. It teaches us to focus on what we can control, to accept what we cannot, and to find freedom in the practice of virtue. Through the practices of mindfulness, reflection, self-discipline, and compassion, we learn to navigate the complexities of life with grace and strength. We come to understand that happiness is not found in the absence of problems, but in the way we approach them. It is in the calm acceptance of what is, in the courage to face what may come, and in the wisdom to choose how we respond. As you continue on your journey, embrace the teachings of the Stoics as tools to cultivate a life of depth and richness. Practice gratitude, not just for the joys, but for the challenges. Practice forgiveness, not just for others, but for yourself. Live each day with intention, knowing that the power to shape your destiny lies within your own mind and actions. And remember, the Stoic path is a journey of progress, not perfection. Each step, each effort brings you closer to the person you aspire to be. So take these teachings with you. Let them guide you through life's storms, fortify you in times of struggle, and illuminate your path towards a life of virtue, peace, and fulfillment. You have within you the strength, the wisdom, and the courage to face whatever comes. You are the master of your own mind, the architect of your own fate. Embrace this power and let it lead you to a life well lived. An essential part of Stoic practice is the cultivation of what the Stoics called the inner citadel. This inner citadel is your place of unassailable peace, an inner fortress of strength that is built through the continual practice of self-mastery and reflection. No matter what happens externally, whether it be loss, failure, or injustice, your inner citadel remains untouched. It is not a place of escape from the world, but a foundation upon which you build your resilience. The Stoics teach that by nurturing this inner citadel, you become less vulnerable to the whims of external events. You learn to carry your peace with you, no matter where you go or what circumstances you face. This concept ties closely with the Stoic practice of ataraxia, or a state of serene calmness. In our daily lives, we often find ourselves pulled in multiple directions by our responsibilities, desires, and the expectations of others. This can lead to a sense of chaos, anxiety, and a feeling of being ungrounded. Ataraxia is the antidote to this chaos. It is the cultivation of a calm and tranquil mind that is not easily disturbed by external events. This state is not achieved by avoiding challenges or difficult emotions, but by developing the ability to remain centered and composed, even amidst the storm. The Stoics offer various tools to achieve ataraxia. One of the most effective is the practice of viewing things from a broader perspective. When faced with a problem, the Stoics encourage us to step back and see the situation as part of a larger whole. Ask yourself, will this matter in a week, a month, or a year from now? How does this situation fit into the grand scheme of your life? By expanding your perspective, you minimize the intensity of the issue at hand, seeing it for what it truly is, one small part of a much larger journey. This practice helps you maintain your composure and prevents you from being overwhelmed by temporary setbacks. Additionally, the Stoics emphasize the importance of setting priorities based on your values. In a world full of distractions, it is easy to lose sight of what truly matters. The Stoics teach that to live a life of virtue, you must be clear about your values and let them guide your actions. Whether it is honesty, kindness, integrity, or justice, let these values serve as your compass. When you align your decisions with your values, you create a sense of harmony within yourself. You reduce inner conflict and gain the confidence that comes from knowing that you are living according to your principles. A common struggle in modern life is dealing with uncertainty. We often feel the need to control every aspect of our lives, to plan for every possibility, and to eliminate risk. However, the Stoics teach that uncertainty is a natural part of existence. They remind us that while we can prepare and take reasonable steps to shape our future, we must also accept that some things will always be beyond our control. By embracing uncertainty, you open yourself up to the flow of life. You become more adaptable, more willing to take risks, and less afraid of the unknown. You understand that while you cannot predict the future, you can trust in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. Stoicism also guides us in our pursuit of meaningful work. The Stoics believed that work is not just a means to an end, but a vital aspect of living a fulfilling life. When you engage in work that aligns with your values and contributes positively to the world, you find a deeper sense of purpose. This does not mean that every task will be enjoyable or that every job will be perfectly aligned with your passions. However, the Stoics encourage us to find meaning in our efforts and to approach our work with a sense of duty and a desire to do it well. Even in the most mundane tasks, you can find satisfaction by doing them with care, diligence, and a commitment to excellence. And another important aspect of Stoic philosophy is the cultivation of self-reliance. While the Stoics valued community and human connection, they also emphasized the importance of being self-sufficient. This means developing the strength to stand on your own, to make decisions based on your values, and to trust in your own judgment. It involves letting go of the need for constant validation from others and finding your self-worth within. When you become self-reliant, you are less swayed by the opinions and actions of others. You are able to remain true to yourself, even in the face of criticism or rejection. The Stoics also teach us to embrace simplicity. In a society that often equates success with excess, the Stoic practice of simplicity is a powerful reminder that more is not always better. By simplifying your life, whether it be decluttering your space, minimizing your possessions, or reducing unnecessary commitments, you create room for what truly matters. Simplicity brings clarity, allowing you to focus your time and energy on what is most meaningful to you. It is not about deprivation, but about prioritizing quality over quantity, depth over breadth. Through simplicity, you find freedom from the distractions that prevent you from living a purposeful life. A crucial practice in Stoicism is the art of saying no. Many of us struggle with setting boundaries, fearing that saying no will lead to disappointment or conflict. However, the Stoics teach that saying no is an act of self-care. It is a way of protecting your time, energy, and well-being. By learning to say no to things that do not align with your values or priorities, you make space for what truly matters. This does not mean you should be rigid or unwilling to help others. Rather, it means being discerning about where you invest your resources. Saying no is not an act of selfishness, but of wisdom, allowing you to contribute more effectively to the things that matter most. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of continuous learning and self-improvement. They believed that the journey to wisdom is ongoing and that each day offers new opportunities for growth. This mindset encourages us to remain open to feedback, to seek out knowledge, and to reflect on our experiences. It is through this commitment to learning that we become more skilled in navigating life's complexities. When you approach life as a student, always eager to learn and grow, you remain humble and adaptable. You understand that wisdom is not a destination, but a journey, one that requires constant effort and reflection. In relationships, the Stoics advise us to practice oikeiosis, the natural process of expanding our sense of self to include others. This means recognizing that our happiness is interconnected with the happiness of those around us. When we treat others with kindness, respect, and understanding, we not only improve their lives, but enrich our own. Oikeiosis teaches us that acts of compassion and cooperation are not just moral duties, but also pathways to a more harmonious and fulfilling life. By extending our care beyond ourselves, we cultivate a sense of community and belonging that enhances our well-being. The Stoics also speak to the inevitability of setbacks and failures. No matter how carefully we plan or how diligently we work, we will encounter moments of defeat. The Stoics encourage us to view these moments not as signs of our inadequacy, but as natural and necessary parts of the human experience. Each failure, each setback is an opportunity to practice resilience, to learn, and to grow. By embracing failure as a teacher rather than an enemy, we develop the courage to take risks, to step out of our comfort zones, and to pursue our goals with tenacity. Remember, it is not the failure itself that defines us, but how we respond to it. The Stoics teach that our character is revealed in how we handle success. It is easy to be humble in failure, but true character is shown in how we carry ourselves in moments of achievement. The Stoics remind us to approach success with humility and gratitude, recognizing that our achievements are often the result of not just our efforts, but also the contributions of others and the favor of circumstances. By viewing success as an opportunity to give back, to share our knowledge, and to inspire others, we prevent it from feeding our ego and instead use it as a force for good. In the pursuit of a virtuous life, the Stoics advise us to practice prohairesis, the exercise of moral choice. Prohairesis is the ability to choose how we respond to external events. It is the recognition that while we cannot control what happens to us, we have complete control over how we interpret and react to those events. This power of choice is at the heart of Stoic freedom. When you practice prohairesis, you take responsibility for your thoughts and actions. You choose to act with integrity, to speak with honesty, and to approach challenges with courage. This practice empowers you to shape your destiny, not by changing the world around you, but by mastering your inner world. The Stoics also encourage us to embrace joy in its truest form. Joy, in Stoic philosophy, is not the fleeting pleasure of external success or material gain, but the deep contentment that comes from living in alignment with your values. It is the quiet satisfaction of knowing that you have acted with virtue, that you have done your best, and that you are contributing positively to the world. This joy is not dependent on external circumstances. It's a state of mind that arises from within. When you cultivate this inner joy, you become less affected by the highs and lows of life. You learn to appreciate the beauty of each moment, to find peace in the midst of chaos, and to celebrate the simple pleasures that life offers. The teachings of Stoicism provide a timeless framework for navigating the complexities of human existence. They offer us the tools to build an inner fortress of strength, to cultivate a calm and balanced mind, and to live a life of purpose and virtue. By practicing gratitude, embracing simplicity, and exercising moral choice, we find a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment. The Stoic path is one of continual learning, growth, and self-mastery. It is a journey that challenges us to rise above our circumstances, to act with courage and integrity, and to find joy in the pursuit of wisdom. As you move forward in your life, carry these Stoic principles with you. Let them guide you through moments of uncertainty, fortify you in times of struggle, and inspire you to live each day with intention. Remember that you have within you the power to shape your mind, to choose your response, and to create a life that reflects your deepest values. Embrace the journey of becoming and trust that every step, every challenge, and every victory is a part of the beautiful unfolding of your story. You are the author of your own narrative, the master of your fate. Let Stoic wisdom be your compass, guiding you towards a life of strength, serenity, and unshakable inner peace. A central aspect of Stoic philosophy that we can explore further is the importance of eudaimonia, often translated as flourishing or the good life. For the Stoics, eudaimonia is not about pleasure or material wealth, but about living in harmony with nature and reason. It is about achieving a state of inner contentment by aligning one's actions with virtue. This form of flourishing is not contingent on external circumstances. It's a state of being that arises from a disciplined, rational, and virtuous approach to life. By practicing eudaimonia, you shift your focus from chasing fleeting pleasures to cultivating a lasting sense of fulfillment. One of the key paths to eudaimonia is the Stoic concept of apathy, or freedom from destructive emotions. The word apathy here does not mean indifference or lack of feeling. Rather, it refers to the ability to remain undisturbed by emotions that stem from false judgments. For example, feelings of anger often arise from the belief that others have wronged us and that we are entitled to be upset. However, the Stoics teach that such emotions are based on the false notion that we can control others or that our peace of mind is dependent on external events. By practicing apathy, we learn to detach from these false beliefs and to cultivate a state of inner calm. This does not mean we become emotionless robots. Rather, we develop the capacity to experience our emotions without being controlled by them. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of metriopatheia, which means having the right measure of emotions. While apathy seeks to free us from destructive emotions, metriopatheia allows us to experience healthy emotions in moderation. For instance, it is natural and human to feel grief at the loss of a loved one. Stoicism does not ask us to suppress this grief. Instead, it encourages us to experience it in a balanced way, recognizing it as a reflection of our love and connection. The goal is not to eliminate emotions, but to maintain a harmonious relationship with them, allowing them to inform our decisions without dictating our actions. Another profound teaching of Stoicism is the practice of praemeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This exercise involves mentally rehearsing possible hardships and challenges that may arise in the future. While this might seem pessimistic at first glance, it is actually a powerful tool for building resilience. By contemplating potential difficulties, you prepare your mind to handle them with grace when they occur. It is not about living in fear of what might happen, but about fortifying your inner citadel against the uncertainties of life. When you practice praemeditatio malorum, you train yourself to face adversity with calmness and courage, reducing the impact of unexpected events on your mental state. The Stoics also teach the value of sympatheia, the recognition of our interconnectedness with all of existence. This principle goes beyond human relationships. It encompasses our relationship with nature, the universe, and the broader community of life. By understanding that we are part of a larger whole, we develop a sense of humility and reverence for the world around us. This perspective fosters a deeper sense of compassion, not only for other people, but also for animals, plants, and the environment. When you cultivate sympatheia, you become more mindful of how your actions affect others and the world at large. You realize that true flourishing comes not from selfish pursuits, but from contributing to the well-being of the greater community. The Stoics advocate for the practice of self-inquiry. This involves regularly questioning your beliefs, motivations, and desires to ensure that they align with reason and virtue. Self-inquiry is a tool for uncovering the hidden assumptions and biases that shape your thoughts and actions. It encourages you to examine whether your goals are truly in service of your highest good, or whether they are driven by societal pressures or fleeting desires. By engaging in self-inquiry, you become more self-aware and more intentional in your choices. You learn to distinguish between what is essential and what is merely a distraction, allowing you to live a life that is guided by wisdom and purpose. A significant aspect of Stoic philosophy is the acceptance of impermanence. The Stoics teach that everything in life is in a constant state of change. Our relationships, our possessions, our bodies, and even our thoughts. Clinging to the illusion of permanence only leads to suffering. By embracing impermanence, you learn to appreciate the present moment, to love what you have while you have it, and to let go gracefully when it is time to move on. This acceptance also extends to the realization that we, too, are impermanent. By reflecting on our mortality, we gain the clarity to prioritize realization, what truly matters, and to live each day with intention and gratitude. The Stoic principle of the obstacle is the way is another profound lesson that shapes our approach to challenges. Instead of viewing obstacles as hindrances, the Stoics teach us to see them as opportunities for growth. Every difficulty, every setback is a chance to practice virtue, whether it be patience, courage, or wisdom. When you encounter an obstacle, ask yourself, how can this situation help me become a better person? What virtues can I practice in response to this challenge? By reframing obstacles in this way, you transform them from sources of frustration into stepping stones on the path to self-mastery. Another key practice in Stoicism is the art of detachment. This does not mean becoming indifferent or aloof. Rather, it means developing a healthy relationship with the things and people in your life. The Stoics remind us that everything we have is temporary and subject to change. By practicing detachment, you learn to enjoy what you have without becoming dependent on it for your happiness. You love deeply and fully, but you also recognize that loss is an inherent part of life. This understanding allows you to hold your relationships and possessions with a light touch, appreciating them without clinging to them. Detachment is not about rejecting the joys of life. It is about experiencing them in a way that is free from fear and anxiety. The Stoics also place great emphasis on the practice of gratitude. Gratitude, for the Stoics, is more than just a fleeting feeling. It is a state of mind that arises from recognizing the value of what we have. When you practice gratitude, you shift your focus from what is lacking in your life to what is present. This simple shift in perspective has a profound effect on your well-being. It fosters a sense of abundance and contentment, reducing the urge to constantly seek more. By cultivating gratitude, you develop the ability to find joy in the simplest aspects of life. A warm cup of coffee, the sound of birdsong, the smile of a friend. Gratitude teaches you to savor each moment, to be fully present, and to live with an open heart. A final, yet perhaps most crucial aspect of Stoic philosophy is the pursuit of virtue for its own sake. The Stoics believed that virtue is the highest good, the ultimate goal of human life. Virtue encompasses qualities like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. It is not something to be sought for the sake of rewards or recognition. It is valuable in and of itself. When you commit to living a virtuous life, you do so because it is the right thing to do, not because it guarantees a favorable outcome. This commitment to virtue gives you a sense of purpose and direction. It provides a moral compass that guides you through the complexities and uncertainties of life. By practicing virtue, you cultivate a character that is strong, resilient, and at peace. The vast teachings of Stoicism offer a profound and holistic approach to life. They guide us in building an inner citadel of strength, practicing emotional resilience, embracing impermanence, and living in harmony with the natural world. They teach us to pursue eudaimonia, not through the pursuit of pleasure or success, but through the practice of virtue, self-awareness, and compassion. Stoicism reminds us that true power lies not in controlling external circumstances, but in mastering our inner responses. As you continue on this journey, let the wisdom of Stoic philosophy be your guide. Practice gratitude, cultivate resilience, and embrace both joy and sorrow as essential parts of your growth. Engage in self-inquiry to ensure that your actions align with your highest values. Face obstacles not as barriers, but as opportunities to practice courage and wisdom. Recognize the interconnectedness of all things and act with compassion towards others and yourself. Remember, the Stoic path is not about perfection, it is about progress. It is a daily commitment to live with integrity, to respond to life's challenges with grace, and to find peace in the practice of virtue. The teachings of Stoicism empower you to become the master of your own mind, the author of your own story. Embrace this power and let it lead you to a life of inner peace, resilience, and fulfillment. An often overlooked yet vital aspect of Stoic philosophy is the concept of arete. which can be translated as excellence or virtue. For the Stoics, arete was not just about moral righteousness. It was the pursuit of personal excellence in every aspect of life. Arete is about being the best version of yourself, not in comparison to others, but in alignment with your own potential. It means striving for excellence in your actions, thoughts, and interactions with the world around you. By cultivating arete, you build a life of purpose and integrity. You focus not on the external markers of success, but on how well you embody the values that matter to you. Achieving arete requires consistent self-discipline and effort. It is not about reaching a final state of perfection, but about continuously working towards your highest self. The Stoics believed that by practicing virtue and pursuing excellence in all that you do, you naturally bring about a sense of fulfillment and peace. This practice is particularly relevant in modern times, when we are often bombarded with messages that equate success with wealth, status, and external validation. Arete shifts the focus inward, reminding us that true success lies in the quality of our character and the integrity of our actions. The Stoics also teach us about the concept of preferred indifference. These are things that are neither inherently good nor bad, but can be used in a way that aligns with or detracts from virtue. Wealth, health, social status, and material possessions fall into this category. The Stoics did not advocate for a life of asceticism or deprivation. They acknowledged that these indifference can enhance our lives. However, they also warned against becoming attached to them or defining our worth by them. By viewing wealth, health, and success as preferred but not essential, you cultivate a sense of freedom. You can enjoy these aspects of life without letting them control you. If they are present, you are grateful. If they are absent, you remain at peace. In relationships, this concept of preferred indifference can be particularly liberating. We often tie our happiness to how others perceive us, to the status of our relationships, or to the behaviors of those we care about. The Stoics remind us that while relationships are important and can add richness to our lives, they are not the source of our intrinsic worth. By recognizing this, you can approach relationships with a sense of balance. You love and care deeply, but you do not let your sense of self be dictated by the actions or opinions of others. This perspective allows you to engage with people more authentically, without the fear of losing yourself in the process. Another profound aspect of Stoic thought is the emphasis on understanding and managing desires. Desires in themselves are natural, but the Stoics warned against the unrestrained pursuit of them. When our desires become excessive or irrational, they lead to discontent and suffering. The Stoics encourage us to examine our desires critically, asking whether they are in harmony with our values and whether they contribute to our arete. By cultivating moderation, we learn to desire what is within our control and to let go of the relentless craving for more. This practice does not involve suppressing our desires, but rather refining them, focusing on those that lead to a virtuous and fulfilling life. The Stoics also champion the idea of amor fati, or the love of fate, in a deeper sense. To truly embrace amor fati means to not just accept the events that unfold in your life, but to actively love them. It is about seeing every circumstance, whether joyous or painful, as an opportunity to practice virtue. When you face a setback, amor fati encourages you to view it as a gift, a chance to cultivate strength, patience, and resilience. This mindset transforms how you relate to life's challenges. You no longer see difficulties as mere obstacles to be overcome, but as essential experiences that contribute to your growth. In this way, amor fati becomes a powerful tool for living with courage and gratitude, regardless of what life brings. An extension of amor fati is the practice of acceptance. Acceptance in Stoic philosophy is not passive resignation, but active engagement with reality. It involves seeing things as they truly are, without imposing our judgments or desires on them. When you practice acceptance, you acknowledge that some aspects of life are beyond your control and that resisting them only leads to frustration and suffering. This does not mean you become indifferent to the world. Rather, it means you engage with it from a place of clarity and wisdom. You accept what is, and then choose how to respond in a way that aligns with your values and goals. This practice of acceptance cultivates inner peace as it frees you from the constant struggle against the inevitable. The Stoics also teach the importance of logos, the rational principle that governs the universe. They believed that logos is present in all things, and that by aligning our actions with it, we live in harmony with the natural order. To live according to logos means to act with reason, to make decisions based on careful thought and reflection rather than impulse or emotion. It involves recognizing that there is an underlying order to the universe, even in its chaos. By trusting in logos, you learn to navigate life with a sense of calm assurance, knowing that every event, whether it appears favorable or not, is part of a greater pattern. This trust in the rational order of the universe fosters a sense of faith and courage, allowing you to face the unknown with an open heart. The Stoics emphasize the concept of mental rehearsal or visualization. This practice involves imagining various scenarios, both positive and negative, and preparing yourself mentally for how you will respond. By visualizing potential challenges and rehearsing your reactions, you strengthen your ability to remain composed and virtuous in real-life situations. This mental training helps you build resilience, as you are not caught off guard when difficulties arise. You have already practiced how to respond with patience, courage, and wisdom. This technique also allows you to visualize your success in living a life aligned with Stoic values, reinforcing your commitment to the principles of virtue and self-mastery. One of the most practical teachings of Stoicism is the distinction between what is up to us and what is not. This is the essence of the Stoic dichotomy of control. What is up to us includes our thoughts, intentions, choices, and actions. What is not up to us includes external events, the actions of others, and the outcomes of our efforts. By focusing on what is within your control, you direct your energy towards what you can influence. This practice reduces anxiety and stress, as you stop wasting effort on trying to change what is beyond your power. It empowers you to take responsibility for your own mind and actions, knowing that while you cannot control the world, you can control how you respond to it. The Stoics teach us about the practice of compassion, both for others and for ourselves. While Stoicism is often associated with Stoic endurance and emotional restraint, it is also deeply rooted in the idea of universal brotherhood. The Stoics believe that all people are part of a single community and that we have a duty to treat others with kindness and justice. Practicing compassion means recognizing that everyone is on their own journey, facing their own struggles and limitations. When others act in ways that are frustrating or hurtful, the Stoics encourage us to respond with understanding rather than anger. By cultivating compassion, you not only contribute to the well-being of others, but also free yourself from the bitterness and resentment that often arise from judgment and blame. Compassion extends inward as well. Self-compassion is the practice of treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a friend. The Stoics remind us that we are humans and that making mistakes is a natural part of the process of growth. When you practice self-compassion, you allow yourself to learn from your mistakes without harsh self-criticism. You acknowledge your imperfections and use them as opportunities to practice humility and self-forgiveness. This attitude of self-compassion fosters a sense of inner peace as it helps you let go of guilt and regret, focusing instead on how you can improve and move forward. The Stoics emphasize the power of praxis, the act of putting theory into practice. It is not enough to understand Stoic teachings intellectually, you must embody them in your daily life. Stoicism is a practical philosophy, one that is meant to be lived. Each day presents opportunities to practice patience, courage, self-control, and wisdom. Whether you're dealing with a difficult colleague, facing a personal setback, or simply navigating the challenges of daily life, you have the chance to apply Stoic principles. By turning philosophy into action, you strengthen your character, build resilience, and create a life that reflects your deepest values. Stoic philosophy provides a timeless and practical framework for living a life of virtue, resilience, and inner peace. It teaches us to strive for arete, to focus on what is within our control, to embrace challenges as opportunities for growth, and to cultivate compassion for ourselves and others. Through practices like acceptance, mental rehearsal, and self-inquiry, we build the inner strength to navigate life's complexities with grace and wisdom. The Stoic path is one of continuous progress, not perfection. It is a journey of becoming, a daily commitment to living with integrity, courage, and joy. Let the teachings of Stoicism be your guide. Use them to fortify your inner citadel, to remain calm amidst the storms, and to find meaning in both triumphs and trials. Embrace arete, seek the good in every situation, and live in harmony with the natural order of the universe. Remember that you have within you the power to shape your thoughts, to choose your responses, and to create a life that reflects the best of who you are. Each day is an opportunity to practice virtue, to deepen your understanding, and to move closer to the flourishing life that Stoicism envisions. So, go forth with strength and serenity. Let the wisdom of Stoicism light your path, and may you find in its teachings the tools you need to live a life of purpose, peace, and profound fulfillment. Another key concept in Stoic philosophy that deserves attention is the practice of ataraxia, or imperturbable tranquility. While we previously touched upon this idea as inner calmness, ataraxia extends to a profound state of mental peace that remains steady regardless of external chaos. It is the essence of unshakable serenity, where one finds refuge in their inner citadel, untouched by life's ups and downs. Achieving ataraxia involves training your mind to be resilient against impulses, emotions, and distractions that arise from outside circumstances. The more you cultivate this tranquility, the more you become immune to the noise of the world, focusing instead on your rational mind and virtuous living. And an essential part of cultivating ataraxia is practicing mindfulness, a concept that is surprisingly modern despite its ancient roots. For the Stoics, mindfulness is not just about being present, but also about maintaining a vigilant awareness of your thoughts and reactions. By observing your internal dialogue, you identify which thoughts serve you and which lead you astray. When you notice yourself becoming anxious, angry, or distressed, mindfulness provides a moment of choice to either succumb to these emotions or to respond with rationality. This momentary pause is where freedom lies, as it allows you to realign with your values and choose the path of virtue. Stoicism also encourages the use of the view from above as a tool to gain perspective. This practice involves mentally stepping outside of your current situation and viewing it from a higher vantage point. Imagine yourself rising above the earth, looking down at your life as if you were an observer. See the vastness of the universe and the smallness of your current troubles within it. This exercise helps you put things into context, reminding you that many of the issues that consume your mind are transient and, in the grand scheme of things, not as overwhelming as they seem. By adopting this cosmic perspective, you cultivate humility, realizing that you are just one part of a much larger whole. This perspective can be a source of comfort, reducing the power of stress and worry in your daily life.